program. It is Thursday and it's definitely Entertainment Thursday. And this morning we'll still continue to just look at the gospel industry and basically the evolution therein. And also we'll touch a bit on the award system. You know, when the award system came into the gospel space, how did that in turn changed the trajectory of the gospel music? Did artists now begin singing for awards instead of the word, or what exactly happened? And also just try and look at how the digital space has really revolutionized you know, the gospel space as a whole. And on set this morning I'm joined by two gospel artists. To my immediate, this is what left, Subiri J. Nimeipata correctly? And then at the farthest end, that is JaceAfrica, who will be talking to us about their gospel journey. Sindio?
Yeah.
Person away with Jace.
Yeah.
Before to come to that part of the award system, let's just begin by what inspires you as an artist, because umeanza almost recently. So really, what pushed you into the gospel space? You could have chosen to do any other kind of you know, music or style. What are gospel specifically?
I believe it's a calling. Yeah, it's a calling from God. Gospel
is a calling.
Yeah.
How are you called? No, because others say, you know, I was called, and then you ask them, how are you called? Nilisikia tu sauti. I just felt an inclination. Okay, so for you, how was it?
Okay, you wake up in the morning and you just take a pen and script a song. You have no idea. In like 30 minutes, you finished. You want to record. So I believe that's a calling. That's not something you can just wake up and do it. Yeah.
So for you, you believe you are actually called to do gospel music.
Yeah.
So then does that mean that for you it's going to be gospel all the way? Ama hapa katikati will now start changing a bit? Because also you've seen, you know, good number of artists doing that.
Life has been difficult and God will come through. So I don't think it have a point I'll have to change. Nah.
So also because of what you've gone through as a person, this is part of what inspires how you create your content.
Yeah.
All right, Subiri J.
Yeah.
The gospel space for you. I mean, could have been any other kind of music. Could be secular, could be Afro-pop, could be any other thing. So why really gospel, and what really inspires you to do this kind of music?
Okay. Hapo nyuma kidogo mimi nilikuwa naimba nyimbo za mapenzi, tuseme nyimbo za mtaani. Alafu pia sikuwa vizuri sana kule mtaani, nilikuwa kidogo nimeadapt life ya mtaani, natumia drugs nini, but nikakamnika meet mse ambaye ndo manager yangu sahi, anaitwa Pastor Robert. So kukakaa naye hivi akanifunza maadili definitely, kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa na ile talent, so nikaanza kuimbia God. Alafu nikashukuru sana kwa sababu kuna time mob ambao niliwestuku na kuna time ambao nimepata hapa sahi, so nikakuwa ndani kabisa kwa gospel music. Yeah.
So hizo wimbo za mapenzi zenye ulikuwa naimba ni zile tunasema contemporary music? Ilikuwa tu wimbo za mapenzi specifically, ama ilikuwa the secular, you know, music? What exactly was it before now come to the gospel space?
Zilikuwa hizo sasa, zile nyimbo zenye ni mapenzi but zingine ziko na matusi ndani. Yeah, so nyimbo tu mbaya hizi. But sasa after nime receive God, sasa nikaanza kuimba nyimbo za gospel sasa full time.
Ukaanza kuimba gospel full time.
Yeah.
So when was this, when uliingia gospel full time, now you really just want to do gospel music?
Ilikuwa 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
So you can safely say you've at least doing gospel music for 3 years.
For 3 years.
How has it been doing gospel music for 3 years? And also how can you compare, you know, your time nyingine when you're doing secular to now that you're doing gospel?
Nashukuru God amefungua milango juu wakati nilikuwa huko nilikuwa sina hata msee wa kunisupport. Alafu pia mtaani kwetu kwa Taita Taveta watu wamenikubali vizuri. Naweza sema imekuwa fiti. God amebless. Yeah.
Imekuwa fiti.
Sana.
Now you're loving the journey.
Kabisa.
So pia hata kwa umerudi back to where you are.
Hapana.
You know, because I mean recently unapata wasanii wengi sana kwa gospel. Mtu anaanza na gospel ama hata they were in secular before, they come to gospel, then they feel like ai huko ni kugumu. Acha nirudi back to where I was, I'm back to, you know, what looks like she'll be making money. So for you, is it this all the way? Ni gospel mpaka mwisho?
Hapana, mimi nimefika na nashukuru Mungu.
Nashukuru Mungu.
Yeah.
All right, Jace.
Yeah.
You were in school first before you actually came to gospel full time.
Yeah.
So what really prevented you from just doing gospel all through, regardless of the fact that you were actually in school? Because I mean, your songs have been released most recently, 6 months ago, 5 months ago.
Yeah. I believe you can't have two masters at a time. You can't. because I did my first audio, and people were like, hey, you should do more music. No one was telling me finish school first. So I sat down and I was like, nikienda hivi nitapotea. So I decided, let me finish school first, then ningie mziki. Na so far nimeingia vizuri, nimemaliza degree, so I'm good to go now. Yeah.
Your first song was, is it Baba wa Pekee or Tutakusifu?
My first song was Hard to Say. Yeah, it's a
Hard
reggae.
to Say.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
What was the reception like, for your first single, and what really motivated you just from that reception to continue creating more music?
Just like I say, doing music is a calling. You just don't wake up and say, I'm going to be an artist. It's a calling. I believe if God like chooses you, you'll just wake up one day and you just find courage to go to the studio. You won't have like clicks with the producer. You just do your recording, and I believe if you're ordained by Christ, things become easy, because without Christ, trust me, misigeandika hata mistari ine.
Inakuwa tricky sana.
Yeah.
So as an artist, what would you say is your strength as an artist? Is it the writing? Do you play instrument? What exactly is your strength as an artist, as a musician?
Tema. Yeah.
Mistari tu.
Yeah.
Subiri, what about you? What's your strength as an artist?
Mi nacheza hizo vyombo zote, nacheza gitaa. Yeah.
You also unacheza, the instruments.
Yeah. Alafu pia napenda sana live music. Yep.
Live music.
Yep.
So between live and recording, how would you compare the two, recorded music? Because you also record music.
Yeah. Unajua live inakuwaga tofauti kidogo kwa sababu una communicate na audience wako direct. Alafu pia unakuwa na interact vizuri nao. Compared na kwenda studio na kuachilia tu muziki kwa watu wote.
Kwa watu wote.
Yeah.
Ni nini ishafanyika wakati unafanya live performance ukasema hapa enyewe issue nililima kabisa?
Vitu mob hufanyika. Kuna watu wanakupea do kwa sababu wame
Watu wanasema gospel ni kupeleka injili, wachana na pesa kwanza.
Sasa unajua watu like mtu anabarikiwa venye unaimba, so anashindwa tu kuzuia, anakuja anakubless kwa sababu at the end of the day ni God amekupa hiyo kitu.
Amekupa hiyo talent or the gift.
Yeah, alafu pia hapo nishapata deals kutoka kwa wase, kutoka kwa kampuni. Yeah. Live inakuwa fiti sana, una connect vizuri na wase.
Na watu compared to recording music.
Yeah.
But all the same is still good because your ministry iko pale nje. Okay, na hiyo time live performance, ni time gani ama which situation have you ever been wakati unafanya live performance ukasema like, well, I wish up background ningefunguka tu inimeze? Those embarrassing moments or something just happened, you go like, what?
Okay, sidhani kama ishatokea kwa sababu most of time mimi mshinda na hizo vyombo. Alafu najua kama maybe sauti imeleta shida kidogo, tunaweza ongea na wase wenye kwa vyombo, maybe tushukishe, tunaitaga transport. Kama ulikuwa high pitch unashuka kidogo, so nishazoea kufanya live, so sometimes inakubali tu.
Inakubali. All right, Jace. There's something that Subiri has said, that especially your aspect here, live performance, and why we really also love live performances, because here, what when you're watch, they will give you money, which is also a good thing. But I just want to get your perspective on this. I mean, there's always this notion of, as a gospel musician, as a gospel artist, you are more on spreading the word as opposed to even think about, it's good because I'm getting the money. What is your take?
My take, I usually focus on spreading the gospel.
Not the money.
You see, God made man, man made money, money made man mad. See, if you concentrate in receiving the monies, it will reach a point you can't spread the gospel without getting money. You see, so me, I prefer like spreading gospel comes first, because usually gospel involves more of charity than corporate money. Like events, you have to do events, you go to churches, and you can't request for money. You just like, hey, can you come sing for us? Like, let's praise God. And I'm like, sure. And they're like, how can we pay you? I usually avoid that question.
Why? I mean, it's also it's like a service, so why not?
I avoid that question because I know the power of money.
All right.
I'll start with, hey, let's do a 10K. Then next time, hey, let's do a 20. I hyped your place last time, so let's do a 20. And it will reach a point, it will become impossible for me to be invited to spread the gospel somewhere because I've reached a point, the limit is so high. Yeah.
Have you done events before?
Yeah.
Okay,
so many.
Good enough. You've done events and you're saying that you avoid that question. I mean, also, I really want us to be as practical and as realistic as we can get in as much as it's the gospel. And yes, you've done events before, and you're saying that you avoid that question of money. So do you do it for free when you do events? Or
I come
how
to
does it come about?
Look, I know there's money, so I come to event. I perform. And then when I'm leaving, it's up to you to call me and say, hey, take this. Or you ignore it. I won't ask you, you know. I won't ask you because if at all I was to come because of money, maybe tungekosania pesa, ama maybe hata singekuja.
Na ungekuja event.
But if I come, I perform, you know, people come, they usually follow you later with an envelope with cash.
Okay.
You can't refuse. So you put it in your pocket and say thank you. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, that is really interesting when you just say that, because it also brings that aspect of when you look at how the gospel space has been shaped right now, that aspect of money never misses. And there's always that question of, I mean, in as much as I'm spreading the word, I can't go home and sleep hungry. I can't just not live in a house because I'm spreading the word and spreading the gospel. So again, also from your perspective, do you feel like this is one of the things that perhaps gospel ministers or gospel artists are missing? Like they've put money so much ahead of wanting to spread the word?
Okay. What I would say, I do motivational talks for students. What I tell them, you need to have two things. You need to have a profession and a career. So that you don't rely on your career. A career is something you like doing. So for me, I like singing. But for my profession, it's something I went to school for. So I did finance. So I have a job and it's paying me. So if I have a job, I'm comfortable with my life. So I won't strain spreading the gospel for Christ. Yeah. Okay.
You won't strain spreading the gospel for Christ. It means that God is just going to come through for you. And we'll come back to that money bit a bit later on, just a bit. But let's come to Subiri Jane. Kwa mtazamo wako, unaona kama hii ni one thing that wasanii wa gospel wana miss sana, because that's what about some of them would say, let me go to secular then, because inakani kama saizi gospel I make you do. Una feel kama your aspect here, putting money more ahead or in front of just spreading the word, ni what in a kill, I mean, like in a make true gospel spaces equals as how it was back in the day? Because back in the day it was more about me, I just want people to really hear the message. I want people to get saved.
Wakati unaanza, for example, kama msanii wa gospel, of course unakuwa na changamoto mob, kwa sababu hii ndio time yenye God amekupea, unaanza na unafanya tu vitu kuspread ile word. But wakati muda inaendelea tu kusonga, kuna time tu itafika pesa zitaanza kuja zenyewe, kwa sababu unajua ni God ameputia kitu kwako. So of course ni kuvumilia tu, na naamini kama msema ako kwa gospel, like ako kwa gospel vizuri, itafika tu time God ata bless.
Kama mtu ako kwa gospel space vizuri, itafika time God to ata bless.
Hata kama itachukua muda.
Okay. So basi unafeel nini wasanii wanafanya? Because the way tunasema also at the end of the day, unajua you can't just go home and eat nothing because I mean you've spread the word. Then how can artists wanaweza differentiate aje, ama what really do they need to do? Is it that they need mentors? Is it that they need to soak themselves in the word sana? Nini haswa wana need?
I think wanahitaji vitu zote mbili, wanahitaji mentor na pia wanahitaji kusoma neno, kwa sababu kama mimi niko na manager na tumefanya shows mingi, hata tunatoka, for example, tunatoka Voi tunaenda kama Mombasa na tunajilipia wenyewe fare. Na tu tunachapa tu ngoma pale, tunahubiri, juu ni pastor na tunarudi. So I think pia wanahitaji mentor ili wajue hii ni kazi yenye ni God tu ameweka mkono hapo ndani. Siku ikifika basi mambo itakuwa poa.
Ile siku Mungu ataamua. Sasa today is the day. Okay, let me hear about your song Can't Go. I want to know the inspiration behind that specific song.
kuna vitu mobo ambazo mimi Mungu amenitendea sana nikiwa kijana zenye sikufikiria. Ningeulizwa kama miaka iliyopita, kama miaka kama 5 hivi, singefikiria kama God angenitoa huko. So hiyo ngoma ni kumshukuru Mungu na kumwambia mimi nishafika hapa na siwezi toka, kwa sababu hata kuna watu huko nyuma ambao pia walikuwa wanaona ni kama isongi, ni kama ukijana kama ako tu anadanganya yuko. So kumshukuru Mungu na kumwambia mimi nishafika hapa kwako na sasa hii niko ready kufanya kenye utasema. So siwezi enda, can't go.
You can't go.
Yeah.
As in for you it's just Jesus all the way.
Yep.
All right, Jace.
Yeah.
I want us to talk a bit about how the gospel industry has really been shifting. And I want us just to pick an example from Mbarambamba on what has been happening. We can't go without saying, because he would call himself a gospel musician, especially when he was beginning. And what you've been seeing recently, the theatrics, he's been performing. Yes, amekuja kajitetea hapa na pale. Even saw a tweet from Ezekiel Mutua saying that sasa hapa umeenda, you've gone too far. Do you feel that the gospel imekuwa a space where someone will just come to make a name, then after they are known, let me now actually do what I really wanted to do as a person?
You see, what I like about my country is that the church has a say in the constitution. So it means gospel artists are more covered by the government than secular artists.
Okay.
So these people just come and hide inside gospel, and once they've achieved what they wanted, they now, like, they decide to show their true colors. At the same time, it's the work of God. You can't, it's not like devil like woke up and said, hey God, let me create hell, then let me go and enter. No, he was thrown in it. So God's like, nah, I can't tolerate you. So he's a supreme being. He just like showcases your true color in front of people, like the way he did inside the club. So in the morning, you try to explain what you did. You can't reverse that. It's so sad, by the way. I felt bad.
You said something very important, which I'd like us to just explore a bit. That it's like people use the gospel space as a platform to just like create the name. Actually, someone like me exists. But the moment you actually know me, then I go back to doing what I really wanted to do as a person, which was not gospel. Then what does that really mean about gospel holistically as a whole? What does that mean about gospel music? What does that mean about gospel industry? What does that mean about the church?
Okay, these artists who do these things, these gigs, they don't know church. They've never been to a church. It's like basically, you know, I can tell you there's a secular artist who started music like 6 years ago, and up to now he has 1,000 views YouTube. But if you're a gospel artist, it will take you like, let's say like 5 months like mine, and you're already up.
Yeah.
Since it's gospel, everybody just supports gospel, you see. So that's the shortcut. You just go, showcase, then come back, do your secular things. And it's sad because to me, if you ask me about Mbarambamba, I can tell you like, that guy, I don't think he goes to church. Yeah, because if you watch a music, I'm sorry to say this, I'm not judging, but it ain't fair. I watched that video and that gospel part. Let me let chairman deal with them.
Let the chairman, the moral cop himself to deal with them.
Ringtone deal with it.
All right. So Biri J, what's an perspective yako also on the same? Do you feel the same as what Jace feels like? Say gospel is like a platform, a place where I'll come and create my name. Mukishani jua, then I actually go and do what I really want to do, which is not gospel. Na kama even una feel, then what does that mean about the gospel industry as a whole, and what does that mean about the church? Because also the church is part of gospel music.
Mimi ningesema ni kama mapasta. Unajua kuna mapasta tofauti. Unaweza enda church ukasikia kuna ubiriwa gospel, but kiupande mwingine, kivengine. So nadhani maybe hawaelewi the calling ya God ikoaje, na pia maybe hawaja
back to calling.
Kwa sababu nadhani kila mtu alitoa place yake specific. So maybe naweza sema hawa sasa wenye wanakuja gospel wakisha establish fit wanatoka. Maybe at the first place hawakuwa wameitwa na God ama pia hawakuelewa purpose yao kwa hii dunia. Yeah.
Well, that is very huge actually. When you talk about purpose, it's very important. Hata mtu kujua why are you living, because that is what purpose is.
Yep.
So does that mean also the church is very important, hata for msanii to be rooted in the word, not just about I'm talented, I'm a musician, I can sing.
Yeah, church ni important sana, alafu pia inategemea ni church gani, kwa sababu kuna church but kuna church na kuna church. Yani kuna church, okay.
Bro, you're judging.
Si judge, eh?
He's judging.
Okay, acha nikwambie. Acha
We'll get your
nikwambie.
perspective, Jace.
Okay, acha nikwambie sasa.
Acha tusikia subiri.
Unajua kuna mapasta wenye wana view injili kivengine. Okay, my take, eh?
Yeah.
Na pia unaweza enda church nyingine ukafeel pastor ana view injili kivengine. Sijui kama unanielewa. So si eti ni kujudge, ni venye injili siku hizi injili inahubiriwa vitu tofauti. Una get? So unaweza pata hapa wase wanahubiri hiki na huko wanahubiri hiki, but the same thing, but sasa inakuwa brought up different. Asa ile venye watu wanaelewa ndo kidogo inasumbua watu.
Inasumbua watu.
Yeah.
Jace,
Yeah.
Before we play your song tutakusifu. Unakanika mbulu kwenda kusema tu subiri mbona ana judge.
You know the Bible says bwana, don't judge, yeah. Don't judge.
Si kujudge.
Don't judge.
Don't judge. You know no one is perfect,
Yeah.
okay? Everyone akona kasura yake kwa kale kakona ka blangata. So you're not perfect, I'm not perfect. So I might see your imperfections and I might not see mine. Yeah. So tuache Mungu aitwe tu Mungu.
Tuache Mungu aishe tu.
Yeah.
Thursday, and my guest on set is still JaceAfrica and Subiri J. Before we went on break, Jace, we were listening to your song Tutakusifu. Now, before you go back to that money beat, able to tell us a bit about that song and the inspiration behind it.
Takusifu. I think it was on a Thursday last year.
You're beginning from the day.
Yeah, I remember very well. I woke up, I started reading some like how to do business, a book by Scott. So just in the middle of the page, there's some lines just come in my head. I'm trying to concentrate on the book, but lines inakuja kwa kichwa. So I was like, napiga freestyle kwa kuwa wimbo naandika, kachukua kitabu, started writing. And after I finished, nikakosa chorus. So when I went to the studio singing, that song, that's an amazing song. Apo kwa chorus, it came by, I think, just God said, just go in, start recording. Ikafika kwa chorus, then I was like, Takusifu too. You know, I had no idea. My producer was like, go on, it's coming. Yeah, and that turned out to be my favorite song. I hadn't planned for it. God is great.
Wow, that's
God
interesting.
Yeah.
So as an artist, you also have favorite songs in between your songs?
Yeah.
Okay.
These songs that you just don't know how it happened. It just happened. Unajua kuna ile unakaa chini unaandika like for 2 months. Kuna wimbo niliandika 2017. I'm still working on it. I'm still like, hey, bado, you know. But I know if I do it, it will be okay. But I'm like, no, bado.
Okay.
Sijapata touch.
All right. So then how would you describe your creative process? Because on this specific one, Tutakusifu unasema ulikuwa tu umekaa unasoma and then unaandika tu mistari hivi na pale up until it fell into place. And then there's a song you've been writing since 2017, but up till now, it's not quite there yet. How do you describe your creative process?
I can just say you go back to calling. Like God selects. He's like, no, this one is okay, but not now. Yeah, it will reach a time, I'll approve it. You see, so I serve like a supreme God, a supreme being. So He won't like to come to my ears and like today. You see, so I'll have to deal with the moment. If I decide to do a song and isishike, I just put it aside. Yeah,
Okay.
I have like 7 songs and they put aside.
Wow.
alafu sasa kuna
unangoja time ya God sasa.
Sasa kama hii tutakusifu sasa just went live without even writing the chorus.
Which again is very important. Let's just touch on that a bit. Waiting on God's time to even release a song. I mean, you wouldn't hear that, especially with a lot of upcoming artists. Even like you, wanasema ati mimi nangoja kusikia tu kwanza God aniambie hii ndio time ya kurelease ngoma. Yeah, akishasema mimi ni msanii, niko na talanta, nikishaandika wimbo, I mean, why not?
You know, Isaiah 60:22 says, when the time is right, I, the Lord your God, will make it happen. Yeah, so I think that's what drives me. If I write something alafu feel navurutana nayo, bado.
Una chill tu.
Yeah, bado. Just nawachana nayo, funga naenda kazi for 1 week alafu nikirudi tuendelee from there.
All right.
Yeah, so I believe God is supreme, so he selects. Yeah.
And his timing is the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Subiri.
Yeah.
How would you describe creative process yako ya kuandika, you know, ngoma, because you also have quite a couple of songs?
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Uko home city tuko na home studio. Alafu pia nimelearn kuhusu production ya music. So most of time mimi utengeneza tu beat, alafu kwanza I remember ngoma nyingi zenye nimeandika, nimekuwa church Sunday, then on Monday natumia ile inspiration nilipata church most of time naandika, ama nimekam through to situation mtaani naandika. Yeah.
So basically ukisema hata situation mtaani ni wewe tuseme mostly your process yako, your creative process is also what is happening around you.
Yeah, that's why niko na ngoma kadhaa, niko na ngoma inaitwa Soma, niko na nyingine inaitwa Tusemezane. Yeah. Nimetoka mtaani.
Nasikia kusema tuna jamii pia musoma word, nataka tu kuona God ananiambia nini through the Holy Spirit, because again also for most matured, you know, musicians will tell you that it's very important kukua pia rooted in the word.
Nasema learning is a process ndio. Bado naendelea kulearn sana kuhusu the word. Nashukuru God sababu venye naona nanipeleka tu vizuri.
God akupeleka tu vizuri.
So tuseme tu niko kwa process na learn.
Yeah, we are definitely not yet done with this conversation. We'll come to unpack more, especially of what is happening in the gospel space. But before we get to do all that, na Jace na Subiri, how about we just listening to Subiri's song that is Nakupenda? Take a look.
Yeah.
Inspiration hiyo ngoma ni ilikuwa, what exactly is the inspiration behind that song?
Unajua mimi ngoma zangu nyingi sana ni kushukuru God place amenitoa. Alafu na feel kuwa love yake ndio nahitaji, agape love. So hii ngoma ni kama ngoma mapenzi but kwa God.
Kwa hivyo hutaki hiyo love nyingine, wewe unataka Allah? Hutaki hiyo love, unataka tu ya God.
Kila kitu na wakati wake, lakini for now
in his own time.
Yeah, for now nahitaji sana mapenzi ya God kwa life yangu.
So it was basically just praising and honoring God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we were saying earlier on that sijasikia sana ukimention most especially about the word being one of the things that goes into your creative process. So does it mean that the word, you read the word, does it play a big role in how you create your music? Ama place ya word kwa content creation process yako ni gani exactly?
Niko na ngoma ambazo bado sija release. Niko na ngoma inaitwa Eloi. Hiyo ngoma yote imetoka kwa Bible. Niko na ngoma inaitwa Adonai. So I think nimekwambia hizo ngoma za kwanza nilikuwa ni kumshukuru God. But venye na grow naendelea sasa kuchimba sasa uko ndani kwa Bible. That's why natoa ngoma ambazo sasa ziko na word in.
All right, so it's also a growth process.
Yeah.
Okay, Jace, you really talk a lot about how calling is important, and also saying that for you, you are called by God. So even in your creative process as an artist, where does the word come in? How does the word play a part?
The word, you mean the Bible?
Yes.
Yeah. The Bible is like the masterpiece. if you wake up in the morning and you do just a single Bible verse, it does a lot. And let's say if you're having a bad day and you take the Bible and read the verse, you know, it will calm you down. And you'll find the day just ending in peace. Like you get into a fight with someone, then you do a verse. Actually, I just say the Bible is the masterpiece. It's everything. It's what you require to take on this life, because that is the only thing that brings you close to God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Now I want us to now come back to that earlier on convo, which I had said that we cannot miss to talk about the award system. There was a time in the gospel industry where it was just singing the word. There was no award up until the likes of Kina Groove Awards came into place. Then slightly your time, especially 2013, 2014, artists who came up during that time, most of them would sing for the awards, not for the word. But again, awards are also good because it shows yenyewe una appreciate craft yangu, you're appreciating what I'm doing as a person. But from you as a gospel artist, and also how you've grown at least a bit in the game, what would you have to say about the award system in the gospel space? Did it come to shift how music was being done? Was it in the positive? Was it in the negative?
Okay, in the positive way, I believe the award system, the purpose of it was to motivate, to encourage gospel artists. But sasa sisi tukachukulia to another extreme. You see, when you're awarded for doing something, it's just like gratitude, you know? Like, hey, you did a good job, keep it up. But us as humans, we tend to change it into a business structure. Like, what if I do another song, a hit song? So I was given $1 million last year, I'll be given $2 million this year. So I'll start doing something for something instead of serving God. Yeah.
Okay.
That's negative impact about it.
All right.
Yeah.
So the positive bit was just that it came to motivate. Only that only that the way in which perhaps wasanii waligichukua was not in the right perspective. So when you look at it, do you think it was a good thing or it was a a bad thing?
Okay. I don't want to troll.
Okay.
It was a good thing, and also it is not.
All right, Jace, let me just cut short a bit because I want us to cross over to Parliament where the National Prayer Breakfast is taking place. Remember that this is the 18th annual National Prayer Breakfast taking place today. I just want us to cross over there and take a listen to what is happening there, even as the President will be making his way there. We also expect very important dignitaries in that particular place. And again, it has been cut down. This is obviously due to the COVID-19 protocols that they're trying to adhere to. This particular event began in 2003. So this is why it's actually the 18th annual National Prayer Breakfast. Again, just to run you a bit on history on how this event came about. This actually was in 1988 when Kalonzo Musyoka, at that time was an assistant minister and a deputy speaker, had been sent by the government to the US, and this was to just have a look on what they were doing during that time. That was the 34th National Prayer Breakfast in the US. So when he came back to Kenya, he was actually intrigued by the fact that non-church leaders could be holding such kind of an event, which prompted him to make the speaker at the time, Moses Keino, in 1988 to also ensure that they have that particular event. So that's what we are seeing right there. These are the live pictures. The Parliament there where the National Prayer Breakfast is taking place is going to be a 2-hour event for this year, just from 8 up until 10 a.m. And again, just to take you back to what had been happening as at that time. So after the prompting to Moses Keino was the speakers at that time, they began small prayer groups in Parliament just because of what they had seen in the US. So those prayer groups happened in between 1988 up until 1990 when they prompted the president again, as at that time that was President Moi, to at least begin a similar event in Kenya.